Good evening and welcome to the May 7th Sunbury City Council meeting. If I could ask everyone to stand for silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Looks like can we go ahead and get roll call for this evening?
Mr. Air. Here. Mr. Ghost.
Here.
Mr. Grumney.
Here.
Mr. Martin is absent. Mrs. Cooper. Here. And Mayor St. John is absent. We have 5 present. We have quorum.
Okay, thank you, Amber. Looking to approve the minutes from our April 16th meeting.
So move. I'll second.
Hey, moved by Mr. Capel, second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Air. Yes. These minutes passed.
Okay, we are in the visitor section. I'd like to see if there anyone who'd like to speak tonight. Okay, please, if you'd come up and state your name and your address. And I believe we're keeping it 3 minutes. Is that right? Okay.
Hi, my name is Sam Pullen. I live at 152 Otis Street. Just wanted to bring to your attention, we were here a couple weeks ago talking about this business of no parking. And we're not really in favor of that. I think you all recall. I brought just a little bit of information for more food for y'all's thought, if I can give it to y'all.
So do you want one for you? Yeah. Okay.
This is just food for thought in regards to the idea of not having or having a parking ban on the street. My wife paid attention to what cars went by from basically 5 to 6, which would be considered pretty high traffic time. In a nutshell, most of the thoroughway goes Rainbow or High Street. You can see that 103 cars were noted to go on that street during that time frame, but only 20 cars were on our street on Otis. You know, there was a baseball game, Pee-wee game at the elementary school. Some people circled the block to find parking and things of that nature. There were no 2 cars that passed on Otis Street during that entire time frame. I believe that from the last time that we were here, it was made known that essentially this whole idea has been brought up essentially by one particular person who has had a few complaints about many things apparently. But I've lived here for 5 years now. This has never been brought up, never been an issue, never been even considered. A couple of things that would be nice to consider, possibly reducing the speed zone to 20 miles an hour in that area. But it is of note to say that if a car were parked on the street, a car would definitively have to drive slower. People do walk on that street. They're going to be walking on the street because there are no sidewalks, you know. We chose the house that we chose because we liked it. We didn't want to be on Rainbow with the side and the busy traffic. That's fine. Our houses don't have sidewalks. This is what we want, you know. Sunbury's a quirky, unique area. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people choose to want to move and live here. So again, this has never been brought up, never been an issue for 5 years. I am in support by many other neighbors I've talked to that do not like this idea. If I did have family over, which I do sometimes, there would be need to be parking on the streets at some times. I think of when I drive down here, there's a street, North Street over here, the brick street. That street does have sidewalks, which is great, but people park on both sides of that street. That street is probably not much more than 21 feet, period. So the idea and notion that emergency vehicles can't get through if a car were parked on one side of the street is It's not true. Doesn't make any sense. So those are some ideas. It'd be nice to possibly put some kind of a sign that says, you know, caution, pedestrian friendly area or whatever. We do have a child that's blind. We don't really want blind signs up. We don't really want to let a bunch of weirdos know that there's a blind person that lives here.
Mhm.
But something along those lines, you know, might be something that'd be helpful.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Okay, please state your name and address.
My name's Britton. I live at 151 Otis. Mayor, what's my opinion on the no parking on Otis Street? I don't think there should be no parking on Otis Street. This is coming from one neighbor who clearly has an issue with me personally. This neighbor's filed numerous complaints, false complaints on myself and my family. If someone's parked on the road, it's not very long. Even if I'm not parked in the road, people still walk down the middle of the road if there's a vehicle or not. As stated in the last meeting, this is a city issue with the walkway issues, not the parking issue. There's only 3 houses on our road that face the road. 2 of the 3 do not wish to have this happen. If company were to come over, including my handicapped parents, that leaves limited options for them to park. As far as it brought up last meeting about there being 2 parks at the end of the roadways, there's parking at both locations and easily accessible from the main road, which people take to those parks. Changing our road to no parking street is not going to stop the complaints from coming in against me or anything that I do there, or from him calling the police on me for anything that I do along with the city. I don't know if there's ever been an issue parking on Otis until I started on here. I've checked with numerous people and they've all said there's never been an issue. I don't know what I did, but even when I park there, it's until people leave my house so I can park where I normally park. It's not days on end or overnight or anything else.
Mhm.
People park on both sides of the road on the other half by the football field. And people get by there just fine with cars on both sides versus me having a vehicle on one side. That's what that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else like to speak tonight? Okay. All right, thank you very much both for speaking to us tonight. We do have, moving on, we do have 2 proclamations to read this evening. The first one, let me turn to it, is for a proclamation declaring May 11th through the 17th, 2025 National Police Week in the city of Sunbury. And I'll read this proclamation. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Sunbury Police Department. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, there are currently more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States who had made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., whereas 345 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 148 officers killed in 2024 and 197 officers killed in previous years. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund 37th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2025. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 11th through May 17th. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Joe St. John did hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through the 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in the city of Sunbury, and encourage residents to publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. So.
Sure. Sure. I know, you might get your hair done.
Make sure you-
End up there. Go ahead. Good there. Turn the proclamation.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We have a second proclamation this evening.
This is why the mayor isn't here.
And this is a proclamation declaring May 18th through the 24th, 2025 National Public Works Week in Sunbury. And I'll read this one. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, utilities, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Sunbury. And whereas these utilities, infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for building, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, wastewater treatment, public buildings, parks, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens and civic leaders of Sunbury to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association. Now therefore, Mayor Joe St. John did hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the city of Sunbury. He urges all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and their Sunbury neighbors to participate in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions that they make to designing, building, and maintaining our public assets and advancing the quality of life for all our residents.
All right. I'm going to do another picture. So John, I've asked Carla, the city engineer, to come up and accept this on behalf of Public Works. I will add, in addition to this, for those who may not know, Carla actually serves as the president of the Central Ohio American Public Works Association chapter. That's cool. A bunch of engineers and the like.
It is, that is very cool.
Yeah, we will make sure that Dale and
Right.
and Jake's teams get recognition as well. So they'll get copies. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I think that moves us on to committee report. Oh, no, excuse me. We have Chief Kovach is here to give the BST&G Fire District 2024 report. Sorry, sir. Thank you.
I was supposed to be here last month and I was successful almost all here of not getting. So tonight we're finally going to go over the 2024 annual report in the beginning of May. So we'll get through it pretty quick here. Do you have that one page?
Yeah, it's in the package.
we have
Everybody's got it.
Okay,
Yep.
We changed things up this year. A lot of places go to that one page and go graphic and play around a little bit. We seem like feedback is fairly pretty good. A couple of things we want to highlight on there is obviously every year with growth call volume keeps going up, and last year again was another record year, over 1,600 incidents, still roughly 50-50 EMS versus fire and rescue. It was about a 3.5% increase over the previous year, which we seem to, whenever we have a fluctuation in population, we're usually a year behind catching up. Call volume wise, for example, this year we're already 10% ahead where we were last year. So we keep seeing those kinds of trends moving forward. So the one thing I wanted to highlight on there is our community risk reduction division and fire inspectors. They are increasingly busy every single day. If you remember, we added a second full-time inspector 2 years ago. As it is right now, they're doing a great job. We're starting to struggle keeping up. So that's something we're going to have to pay attention to moving forward in the future. What's interesting is we're starting to look at the data now that we've got a good full year of tracking what we're looking for. We're interested to see how much of their time is spent with old existing structures and new construction. And we typically sales last year, I think the majority of their time is now being spent on new construction. So it's something we're going to have to watch. We have to keep up with the existing buildings and fire inspections. If you watch that. You guys see us out in the community quite a bit. It's very important to us to be involved. So we're very proud of the amount of community events that we attended. A reminder that we are one of the car seat installing sites in the county. So if there's anybody who needs car seats, we have somebody almost every single day that can help out with that. And then every year for past few years, we've been able to get a bicycle helmet grant. We pass out bicycle helmets
Great.
at almost all of our events throughout the year. So we just got our new batch for this year. So hopefully, we'll catch some kids and they can get some good helmets on their heads for protection. So, was there any questions about the infographic?
How's construction going on the new,
Good, I was just in there.
Okay, there you go.
So we passed a bond issue last spring, which
Mhm.
tremendous thanks to all the residents. We literally could not have done it without everybody that turned out to vote for us. So we're super appreciative of that. Project's on schedule, even bad rain, construction meeting today, we're able to move some things and we are still on schedule for next March.
Yeah.
Wow.
Footers are done, they're working on the foundation this week, and then the plumber finally moved on site, and started to do his underground work that would be below the slab. So it's moving along well. If you drive by the site over the next few weeks, you will see some stuff starting to come out of the ground. Our tornado shelter, which we learned the hard way, is the actual requirement. Shares that one. Tornado shelters just for the people that work in the building.
Okay.
Start to see that come out of the ground over the next few weeks, and then the building should be starting to get delivered in about another month or so. So it's moving along pretty well, pretty happy. We will keep putting pictures out on social media, keep everybody surprised at the project. It's going really well. So again, thanks to everybody for voting for that, and we're looking forward to opening it. We're very excited. We'll have, just like we had a groundbreaking, we'll have a big dedication and open house when it's finished up. We continue to keep advancing as a department training wise. We had over 5,000 hours of training last year, fire, EMS, leadership training, and physical fitness. That's something that we continue, we push hard to make sure that number grows every year.
Chief, I was going to ask a question about that because I saw there's so many hours, and I was curious if it correlates police and fire. When the police got their new building, they started hosting trainings. Is that something that your department is looking at with your new building?
Got a really decent sized training room in the new station. That's something that we wanted so that we can start hosting classes, since that building's shared with EMS. It allows us to host even more classes as well. So
Great.
I think we can hold about 50 students in that classroom. And there's also a training tower component to that station as well, so that crews can advance hoses up steps, throw ladders. We'll have a couple windows that are removable, so we can window rescues and ladder rescues. So it's,
Right.
that station is being built that in mind for the future, which we're glad. I think that's really something that also. In addition, last year we were faced with a rare event, and that was a tornado that came through. Seems like once a year, we always get some sort of weather event, but last year I don't think anybody was expecting a tornado in April. And it touched all 4 communities in the fire district.
Wow.
Grace of God that we got out of that, no injuries, no fatalities. Obviously, there was a lot of damage. I think some people are probably still working with FEMA to get things taken care of, but it couldn't have gone any better. Really, it's a testament to everybody working together, being prepared, and now moving forward, staying prepared to move forward. So if something happens again, we're ready to mobilize to prepare again. So hopefully we don't have that anytime soon. I would be happy to never go through that.
Mhm.
What kind of staffing hiring plan do you have for this next year?
Get full staffing after tomorrow night. We're down some part-time staff, and we'll bring that back up. We added 3 full-timers at the beginning of the year. And then when we get ready to move into the new station, we'll hire again, part-time to be able to make sure we can add staff at full station, and then we will figure out then moving forward, we're gonna have to transition some of those positions to full-time. We're just gonna have to get budget numbers to figure out how we do that.
So you'll have 3 new part-timers come next year to fill the new station. Oh, it's 26.
2 for 1,
Oh, okay.
part-time, cover 1 full-time spot.
No full-timers planned for next year?
Not right now, the budget can't support that right now.
Okay.
Any other questions? If you do want a full 44-page report.
I like the 1 page.
Yeah.
Like reading help.
Progress is good.
It's on the website, it is available. I like my stats and data, and I can't get it for 40 pages, but it's there, if you want to read it on the website.
Can you speak real quick about the fatalities this year so far?
We've got 2 fatalities on 71 this year already. We generally average 3 to 4 fatalities a year out here. It's just something that people need to be careful of as we start to grow and get more and more people. People lose patience, people in a hurry, just everybody do your part, slow down, have some patience. You're not gonna get there much quicker if you can drive erratically. I'm sure Chief Howard can on that. So they've both been on the interstate, so that
2 car accidents.
that's 2 car accidents, so.
Yeah.
Something we ever like to do, so.
Yeah, okay.
Your call volume increases. It's pretty substantial.
The call volume's gone up quite drastically over the last 10 years. That's expected with the growth. Some of the numbers that we do have in the full annual report, if you go online, we are doing it responsibly per se, meaning we're growing as a call volume. We're not seeing huge spikes. It's growing responsibly with the population. The per capita is still about the same. Trends are.
Any other questions for Chief?
Yeah, question, please.
Thank you.
Around.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks for your time.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
the service. Yeah, thank you. Okay, that moves us on to committee reports. I'll start with Ms. Dreyer here to my right.
Okay, there is just a couple items from the Delaware Regional Planning Committee. ODOT is holding a stakeholder meeting and other study activity for the Sunbury Parkway interchange. The public can put some input in at a website. And it's publicinput.com/Sunbury Parkway. So that is for public input on that bypass or parkway, the overpass over 71. And the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Committee is assisting Galena with the complete streets and safety audit. They will provide an overview with safety conditions and challenges. The purpose of this is to discuss the traffic safety and conditions for bicycling and walking throughout Galena. I'm not sure if we did that or not. Were they here Morpsey? At some time, maybe.
We have worked with Morpsey on trail related studies, yeah.
And the last item is Weaver Construction. They are doing some custom homes. They asked for a 1-year extension because of a variance request. They are putting in 24 lots on 47.5 acres off of 605 in Trenton Township, just south of Murphy Road. So it was just some interesting points.
Thank you, Mr. Dreyer. Appreciate it. Move on to Mr. Capel. I know you have one.
Yes, I do. So we had the Services Committee meeting immediately before this evening. Started off with Mike Miller from Verdantis presenting on our OPWC scoring. So I won't go too in depth, but it is probably the most detailed breakdown that we've heard yet of exactly how the scoring is done regarding those applications every year. So I encourage anybody that's interested in hearing that full breakdown to listen to the meeting. We're going to be moving forward with looking at the projects that we have and using Mike to help kind of gauge what our chances might be for future OPWC grant applications. Then we had Scott Stevens from Delaware Soil and Water Conservation District. So we were revisiting the topic that we mentioned, brought up last month about an agreement for them to provide us, in addition to the services they already provide, in inspection services for new builds and for complete projects. So that would be paid for out of our fee structure through the stormwater fund. We'll expect to see some legislation here in the near future on that one. And then 2025 street program, the bids are out May 14th. So once we have them in, we'll be able to look through the projected prices for the alternates and see what options we want to tackle and which ones we want to pass off for the future still. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ms. Cooper?
Yes, we had an events committee on April 17th and we had a parks committee meeting earlier this evening, and I'm gonna combine my reports because they overlap. So, there's going to be another disc golf event at our disc golf course, the Kinslow Marathon. That's, in July, beginning of July. And we've discussed how, the base of our Johnny Appleseed statue is being revamped. So he's gone and the base is being worked on, and Johnny Appleseed himself is getting a little bit of work done too. No timeline on when that should be done yet. We had a visitor on Eagle Scout project that I think I've also mentioned to you. Maddox Braun is going to be doing like a beautification of Evening Street Park, working on the bridge and doing some power washing and mulching and planting flowers. And he said he had like 10 to 12 buddies that were going to help him with it. And I was like,
This Saturday.
yeah, this Saturday. So he's got a lot planned. It's ambitious, but it'll be great for Sunbury. We also talked about the Sunbury Pride Festival that we got their permit in. I don't have the date. Amber, do you remember June 25th or something? This will be their second year coming. And the 4th of July parade turned their permit in, same route as before. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. I happen to personally know Mr. Maddox Braun, and he's a very nice young man, so.
Yeah.
His parents are okay, but he's very nice.
They came.
Yeah, they were here.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
You're like friends with his dad, right?
Yeah, we're really good
Yeah.
buddies, so. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Ghost?
Anything here, sir?
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to the police report. Chief Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Grumley.
Yes.
Just gonna kind of condense this down. It's kind of lengthy tonight. So, one of the issues we've been working with was with the cruisers being upfitted. If you guys recall, back on the 16th of last month, we had one out here that looked all nice and ready to go, and we put it in service, and 2 days later, it was not in service anymore. It's been back over to the upfitter since the 18th of last month. We're supposed to get that back this Friday.
Yeah, the 6 items you have listed here, A through F. These aren't little minor things.
No, and we're used to having,
Surprised to see all that.
yeah, we're used to having like these vehicles when they hit the upfitter, they're usually done in 10 to 14 days. Right now with that first car, after all the parts are in and they start working on it, we're at day 83 if it comes in on May 9th. The second car they've been working on, by the time we get that on the 23rd of this month, they'll have had that in the process for 48 days. We've had several conversations with the leasing company. Daryl and I have had a conversation. We're all in agreement that we take the remaining 3 cars to Par Public Safety, who does our cars for us. We're looking at 4 to 6 weeks before we can get them up there and they get started on them. But they're going to give us a car every 10 to 14 days like we're used to. We've looked into another upfitter from Crown of Dublin, who they wanted to reach out to, and we're fine with that. But I think I'm at the point with these cars that I would rather work with the people I know than the people I don't. It's probably going to cost us a little more, $3,000 to $3,500 per car. But there was a breakdown of what that expense was and different equipment that needed to be bought. Not that what the current upfitter is doing is wrong. It's just not up to what we feel our standards should be, if that makes sense.
How do you feel about that, Daryl? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, Chief and I have been talking about this quite a bit, so I think this is the right type person.
To be quite honest with you, I get a date, I come and I let the mayor know, or I let you guys know, and we're gonna have this car, and then a month later, you're saying, where's your car? And I quite frankly, I'm tired of guessing when I'm gonna get the car. So, the first two that they're working on, we pretty much have no choice but to let them finish them. There's no doubt that they can't get them done. It's just when. So I guess I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
The mayor had asked for the radar stats from the radar signs. So the next sheet there you have are the total, let me back up here a minute. Let's do the patrol stats first. Patrol stats year to date, year 2024 compared to 2025. You can see those for the past 4 months. Gives you the calls for service, traffic stops, and then the number of warnings.
Historically, that's been about 75% on the warnings, right?
Yeah, in that area.
Looks like we're a
April was a busy month.
little bit lower.
Yeah. It's a little lower, but we are getting flooded with complaints on traffic, and the calls for service are kind of down. I don't want to say that because that's not really true, but they're not focusing so much on reports. They're working some traffic. You can set it this four-way stop here at the old municipal building, and Dana can probably watch 50 cars run that.
Every
stop
other
sign.
car run the stop sign.
As soon as you put a cruiser up there and they see it,
Yeah.
99 out of 100 cars stop.
Mhm.
So it's just, we're writing what they can, and still not, we don't want to be ridiculous with it. So we still
I think it's warnings 2 out of 3 times is fair.
yeah, and it's not really, when you look at the number of stops we have compared to the citations, I think we're very much inside the ballpark of where we should be.
Mhm.
Any questions on that one? Speed radar signs, Mayor asked for current locations, which are listed there. We have Clover Street, which was a complaint. All the data, I won't go over it unless you want me to. I've included it in your packet so you can kind of look at that. And then if you have questions, you can get with me, or we can address it at the next council. But right now they're at Clover Street, South Columbus at Bewee, North Miller and Meyer, and Prairie Run near Winnow Court. We're looking at, when those come down, the next locations are going to be High Street, North Columbus, Granville, and Sunbury Meadows. And then we'd like to put it back on Walnut Street to get a count if that road is going to be open, so we can see what kind of traffic we have back there. Then the last couple pages, I brought these at the last meeting. You'll see the complaint forms. Says complaint number 2, and then I brought you complaint number 4, just to show you. Complaint 2 is actually the stop sign that I just mentioned that we get complaints about constantly. If you look at the bottom of that, it'll tell you that the dates on the front tell you what day and who checked it, how long they were there. And in total, we wrote 7 citations there, 4 verbal warnings, 1 written warning. And there's been a total of 9.3 hours spent watching that intersection. The complaint number 4, that was called in by a citizen on Clover. It's been checked, looks like about 8 times. There's been no citations, no warnings. It just says there's no activity there that what they've complained about. The speed sign, like I said, is there. The data kind of shows the same thing, that it's not really a speed issue. I want to say out of 2,000 cars down that street, there were 53 cars above 30 miles per hour. So roughly 2.5% of all the vehicles that went down that street were above 30. And that's all I have unless you have questions.
Any questions for Chief? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Chief, do you go back to the initial person that made the complaint when you're done with this and tell them that what your results were?
Yes. This traffic software is something we just started a couple months ago. And that will allow us to, that before we would get a complaint, guys would check it, but there was really no way of tracking that. Unless you went back and did like an individual log type and pulled the info. This allows us that, yes, we can track of who's there, how much time they're spending, and we can email that back to the complainant, or they choose to come in and look at all of them, they can, it doesn't matter.
But you circle back to that person.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, I'd just like to say, and if Chief Kovach was here, I'd certainly include firefighters in this, police officers, but reading that proclamation and just listing the number of lives lost. I just want to say personally how much I appreciate what your officers do, what you do, what the firefighters do, because every day you go to work, your life's on the line. You don't know what's going to happen. And it could be a routine traffic stop. It could be a routine call for EMS or for fire, and something tragic happens. You don't know. But, we all take stuff like that for granted until we need it. And we realize how important it is. And without public safety, we have public chaos. So I just want to thank you and your team. And I want to thank the firefighters, Chief Kovach, because Sunbury is growing, but there's not a growth in what I would call fear, crime, or concern that we're going in the wrong direction. So that's just based on the hard work of both of those groups, patrolling our community and keeping us safe. So thank you. And thanks to Chief Kovach and his group also.
Thank you, and I will pass that on.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys. Yep, thank you. Okay, looks like we're moving on to administrator's report.
All right, updates on boards and commissions. For those who've been following, the Charter Review Commission is about ready to complete their work. Their last meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, and we would anticipate having their recommendations in front of City Council for consideration shortly thereafter. So they are ahead of their required schedule. They had until July 1 to get materials to you, so that'll help you, give you additional time to review the recommendations and pass those on to the Board of Elections for the voters later this year. Our Personnel Board of Appeals, the first meeting of that board is scheduled for later this month, May 20th. We have been we've been appointing members to this board, but we've never actually convened the board. So this will be the first time we do that, and they'll approve some rules that we have been working on for a little bit of time now. So that'll be the primary action of the Personnel Board of Appeals. The Joint Recreation District has met twice. They've got a meeting scheduled for May 22nd. It'll be their third. They're going to hear from the Central Ohio YMCA about their programs and opportunities. We do have members of the JRD that are doing site visits at other Central Ohio community centers right now. So just trying to get themselves familiar with what the potential could look like. So that's boards and commissions. I've included the zoning report for April in the packet as well. We have leveled out a little bit with respect to new builds. It's down from 23 and 24. But above the prior year period. So it's still a high number. It just isn't breaking the records like it has been doing in the last couple of years. But we have had a big increase in the number of occupancy permits. So these are houses done, people moving in. So new residents moving into the city. We had more than double the number of occupancy permits issued last month than we had in the prior couple of years. Big Walnut Middle School Day of Service is this Friday. So we talked a little bit about it, I think, in the Parks Committee. Typically, they do mulching, Town Square, Liberty Park, Sunbury Municipal Building. We'll plant a tree over at Evening Park. But maybe the real sort of difference here, and an interesting little project that's underway, working with the middle school math program. We'll be ready to put out some display stands where they will display math problems that have been generated by, I think it's 8th grade students, for those displays. So if you're available on May 13th, at 9 a.m. We're going to be meeting over at the GRE Trail or behind GRE or elementary school. Elementary school? Yeah, it is. Okay. For a ribbon cutting. So everybody's welcome. The other thing is, and I didn't put this on here, I think when Ms. Dreyer mentioned this, the Sunbury Parkway project has been bid by ODOT. They have selected a contractor. They anticipate that that project's going to get underway here soon. So again, what has been talked about for a long time is certainly becoming a reality.
Mhm.
They got a great bid on it. We're going to talk a little bit more. Well, actually, I might as well raise it right now. The first reading for the budget appropriation includes the amount of money for our sign. Remember, we've approved a couple of pieces of legislation that said we would participate in that, or thought that we would participate. We thought the estimated amount of that sign could be up to $1.4 million. The bids came in and the number is about $350,000, so substantially below that. So that's factored into the ordinance that we'll do a first reading on later.
A
this
direct reflection of your tough negotiating.
Anyway, that's it, unless anybody's got any questions.
No.
Great. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Looks like we're ready for the engineering report.
Good evening, council. I have a number of updates here for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on April 28th. The final plat for Price Ponds, sections 4 and 5, is recommended for approval. You'll see that legislation tonight for our first reading. For the wastewater treatment plant expansion project, I'd already mentioned we had a pre-construction meeting. The next step for the team is to have the contractors meet with our plant manager in order to coordinate some of the initial items that may involve shutting down portions of the plant to make sure that that coordination is sound, and Dale, the plant manager, is amenable to that. That meeting unfortunately couldn't happen this week due to vacations. Next week, on Monday, is our plan to meet and have that discussion. We did, as part of the pre-construction meeting, provide a notice to proceed, which means the clock is ticking on their timeline. They have a 1,000-day completion timeline that puts them at the very end of 2027, assuming there aren't any delays with the project. The Cheshire Road lift station upgrades, this ordinance has been before you for 2 readings. The third reading is tonight. Next steps with that project would be to, assuming it is recommended for awarding the contract, we'll meet with Ryder Company and have a pre-construction meeting and work on the timing for the project. Design updates. Already provided the bid opening date for the street improvement plan for May 14th. With that date, the anticipated first reading for the project will be on the 21st, so at our next meeting. And then after that, we'll be moving, hopefully, that design update into the construction area. And that is my last update, although Chief mentioned that there are some anticipated items that need to occur when Walnut Street opens. Right now, we've been telling people based on the contractor's schedule, which is Iron Sight, that the paving portion of that road would happen before the end of June. On Friday of this week, I should have an updated schedule, but I've been verbally told by the contractor that they are ahead of schedule. So, I will keep you updated. You can know what that timeline is.
Great. When did that ever happen?
That's amazing with all the rain.
Yeah, right.
The schedule.
It's maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. Thanks for the
Thanks,
update.
Carolyn.
Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I think that moves us on to resolutions. No third readings, no second readings. We do have a first reading resolution 2025.04.1. A resolution authorizing the city administrator to enter into a revised intergovernmental agreement and in relation to the joint recreation district. That was just a first reading. Then we do have ordinances. We do have two third readings. The first one, ordinance number 2025.13, an ordinance establishing a penalty fee for payment from insufficient fund accounts. And it does look like we're passing this, or we're voting on this tonight, I should say. So
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025.13.
motion by Mr. Capel,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost, Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Yes.
5 yeas, motion passes.
Okay, and then we have another third reading of ordinance number 2025.14. An ordinance awarding the contract to the Ryder Company, Inc. for construction relating to the Cheshire Road Lift Station project and declaring an emergency, what we just heard in the engineer report. We have a motion on, what's that? I'm sorry.
So yeah, we'll need a vote on the emergency.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, we need to vote on the emergency. So can I get a motion on the emergency?
Motion on the emergency.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Strayer,
Yes.
5 yeas, motion passes.
Okay, so now we need a motion on the ordinance itself, correct?
Motion on ordinance 2025.14.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
5 yeas, motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to second readings, ordinance number 2025.16, again, just a second reading, an ordinance amending Sunbury Codified Ordinance 351.16 to prohibit parking along sections of Otis Street from Harrison Street to Sedgwick Avenue. And then first reading, ordinance 2025.18, an ordinance approving the final plat for Price Pond subdivision, sections 4 and 5, and declaring an emergency. Let's see here. And then we have ordinance number 2025.01.1, an ordinance amending the 2025 annual appropriations. So we don't need to do, that's just a reading, correct? Nothing else to do on
Readings
it?
only, yep.
Okay. So then that leads us, I guess, directly into new and unfinished business, and it looks like we have preliminary vision statement and core values.
Yeah, so we'll just leave this on the table till we have the full membership here to take action.
Okay. Very good. All right, that leads us to, we have our next regular meeting, May 21st, at 7:30. Anything before we, call the meeting?
I was gonna have some new business.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, please.
I just wanted to share about the Leadership Delaware that I did on April 10th. It was Healthcare Day. And so we had like Ohio State was there and Ohio Health was there. We had we got to tour an OB and OR in an emergency room. There was a panel discussion. We heard from someone that works high up with transplants. That was really interesting. But now as Leadership Delaware is sort of going to be finishing up, I've thought back to what I've shared with you guys, and the number one word that I think of is collaboration in Delaware County. It was incredible to listen to an Ohio State representative and an Ohio Health representative. They didn't have Mount Carmel, but they talked about Mount Carmel and how they all work together. They're like, there's only so much land, so there's a little bit of that, but like there's things that Ohio State has that Ohio Health doesn't have, and there's things that Ohio Health has, and they share and they call each other and they say, hey, I got this emergency need and we can't fill it. Can you fill it? And they work together way more, and everything, all the farmers, everything that I've learned so far, the police and law enforcement and attorneys, everything that I've learned so far is incredible how much collaboration there is in Delaware County. We're really lucky. And it was a cool one. I have it again this Thursday or tomorrow, I guess, and it's Economic Development Day, and then I graduate.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, very cool.
Well, thanks for sharing. That
Yeah.
probably was very interesting.
It was
I
super
bet.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we didn't see any babies born.
Oh, that stinks. Okay, well, thank you. Any other new business?
I just want to say, because you guys took the time to come here really repeatedly and state your case, I think that's influential. That's what we're here for. That's what this is for.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
get the information.
One more thing, the button at Route 3 and Granville. It's even worse.
Yeah, Ms. Cooper raised that during at the end of the Parks Committee. So we'll have the service department out there looking at it, see if it's just a malfunctioning button, or if it's a maintenance issue. We'll see what we can get. But thank you.
All I got.
All right, looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion,
Second.
second by Ms. Dreyer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mrs.